Right. So this morning, I'm really tasked with introducing Guyana to the business traveler. If you're Guyanese already, you'll know some of the information I'm sharing here. You would have already been familiar with some of it. If you're not Guyanese and you're viewing this, I hope it gives a positive introduction. And, especially to business travelers, of what they can expect prior to arriving, as well as once they would have gotten
No,
here.
here. I still can't hear you.
Can you guys hear me? Just let me know.
Billy or she.
We're
But when
here.
it's like on, you can't hear.
And just a reminder, please mute your microphones because we're getting some interruptions. Thank you.
All right. Yes. Can just let me know, indicate to me if you can hear me.
We can hear you. Go right ahead, Stacey.
Okay, perfect. Right. So I'll just get straight into it. The first slide I basically had about who is Visit Guyana. Marissa did a great job explaining a bit about our platform. We're a 3-time award-winning page, and our main objective really is to showcase everything positive about Guyana. It's also really to help to aid persons who are looking for information about where to go, what to do, what makes Guyana special, where to stay, transportation, practically anything that involves planning a trip here to Guyana. So we basically try to provide that sort of information. As Marissa would have mentioned, it's really a passion project. That's how it started. As a lot of Guyanese would know, we were known for Jonestown oftentimes, and that's really what motivated us to create this page, to show that we're way more than that. As the page continues to grow, we currently have 260,000 fans on Facebook and over 55,000 on Instagram. Our reach is actually way more than our fan base. We currently reach over we have a monthly reach of over 6 million persons on that page. That really means 6 million people see our posts on a monthly basis. So we are quite proud of that achievement, and it's birthed our 2 magazines. Due to the fact we reach so many people, it was difficult for us to really answer all of the inquiries that come into the page on a daily basis. So we created our 2 magazines. One of them deals primarily with planning tours and trips, and the other one focuses on restaurants and dining when you're already here in Guyana. In addition to that, we also manage the national tourism page, Discover Guyana, which is the National Tourist Board's flagship page. The reason I chose to mention all of this is because it has given us really front seat view of the travel industry and how it's expanded and how it's shifted over the years. So when we first started the page, traditionally the inquiries we would have received were from the diaspora. Their questions were about more nostalgic experiences. We got a lot of questions from adventure travelers because Guyana is such a unique destination and we're well known for our nature and wildlife. So a lot of the inquiries we would have been getting over the years dealt with those experiences. So in a nutshell, most of the inquiries we initially received fell within that scope of ecotourism and nostalgic travel experiences from our diaspora. First and second generation as well. Needless to say, due to the fact that the oil industry is booming, a new type of traveler we've seen emerge, and that's the business traveler, which is what this form is targeting. So the requests and the information requests we're now getting from these new emerging travelers are as follows. As you can see on the page, we're now getting questions about travel logistics, if there are people who can plan these trips for the business traveler, COVID protocols, people want information on security, health and safety, accommodation for business, because not everybody wants to necessarily stay in a hotel. It depends on the length of their trip. So people are actually asking us about accommodation for business travelers, transportation. We're getting questions about real estate. All of these questions are new to Visit Guyana. Usually was, like I mentioned before, primarily dealt with eco-travel. Now that's changed. We're getting questions about conference and meeting facilities, short stay tours for people who are just coming for a few days, catering services for events that people are holding, laundry, dry cleaning, beauty, self-care, and the list goes on. And this is quite interesting. And the reason I wanted to bring it up is because if there are any businesses that are joining us on this forum, this is a great example of how you can benefit from the oil and gas industry with supporting services. Because like Visit Guyana, for example, we primarily give information about tours and travel and directly tours and travel. But now people, because of the questions that they're asking us, we're forced to collaborate with other businesses to provide this sort of information on laundry, dry cleaning, beauty care, catering, and all of these new things. So it's been an interesting shift. So on to exactly introducing Guyana to the business traveler. Guyana is actually recognized as the world's #1 ecotourism destination. We won awards in Best in Sustainable Travel, Top 10 Destination, Sustainable Destination 2019. Actually in 2019, we won 9 travel awards, which is quite impressive, needless to say. So in spite of oil being here, we really, as an ecotourism destination, can stand on our own 2 feet. So oil is actually enhancing this industry, right? Which was already a fascinating industry. Guyana's tourism industry is interesting, in fact, as well, because we're not looking for mass tourists. We're very niche. So business travel has now become an additional niche in addition to eco, nature and adventure, bird watching, and all of the other niches that we target. Business travel has now become one. Moving on to the next slide. And I know some of my colleagues who will be presenting will touch on some of these topics as well. For those of you who are not necessarily Guyanese, Guyana is geographically South American, but of course culturally Caribbean, and we're very proud of that rich, colorful culture. One of the things that makes Guyana special, and the reason I'm going through this again is if anybody's joining us and they're offering business support services, these are some of the things that you can actually use to sell Guyana as a business destination. We're actually the only English-speaking country in South America, so that makes us really special as well. Our heritage, of course, is woven together with our 6 ethnic groups. That makes us extremely special. People oftentimes, first-time visitors, talk about this a lot. And of course, our beautiful tropical weather. We only have the dry and our wet season. I've outlined, for those of you who may not know, the periods when we have our dry and our wet season, and I'm going to email this presentation out to everybody. MBW will do so you guys can go through it at your own pace. Moving on as well, introducing Guyana to the business traveler, visa details, and I know Christine will touch on all of this in her presentation, but as part of planning a trip to Guyana, again, these are all questions that we get from business travelers. They want to know, do I need a visa to come here? And again, Christine will touch on that. People want to, and you can also visit the Ministry of Tourism or the Ministry of Information. Their websites have all of this visa requirements information on it as well. Health and safety protocols, needless to say, we get questions about this every single day in the dozens. Everybody wants to know, you know, what are the protocols I need to follow before I get here? Fortunately, a website has been created that deals with that. It's GuyanaTravel.ui. Currently, you have to do a PCR test within 7 days of traveling to Guyana. That is a requirement. And of course, some of those requirements are changing due to COVID's transitioning. So just head to this website, GuyanaTravel.ui, if you want to know, get updated information on health and COVID protocols. Introducing Guyana to the business traveler again, how to get here. Due to COVID, flight schedules are ever changing, but generally direct flights to America are always available, Canada, the US. And regionally, connections from Europe are usually routed through Barbados, Miami, New York, Suriname. Again, for all this information, you can get this on our website. We are currently updating it to make sure all of these flights, as they change, we keep it updated. Again, once you book your trip, you look after your visa stuff. You want to know, when I arrive here in Guyana, how do I get around? Well, Guyana, there are 3 different ways. There's air, road, and river. For persons who may wish to travel internally, business travelers, because their flagship company may be outside the city, We have local domestic flights that are available through our Ogle airports, local carriers. Of course, roadway, if you're staying here in Guyana and you're not familiar, we would recommend you travel with only licensed taxi drivers, which we at Visit Guyana can also recommend. And river, once business travelers, we found when they come here, they always try to put aside one day or a weekend to do something. So looking to get out of the city limits, you more than likely will have to use some sort of river transportation. So again, there are several logistic companies, including Visit Guyana, that can assist with planning those river tours. Once you get here in Guyana, of course, you would want to spend money. This is a question we get a lot as well. What currency can I use once I get here to Guyana? We have our Guyana dollars, but of course, a lot of major hotels also accept credit cards. If you're venturing outside of the city, though, we would always recommend you have cash because we're a cash-based economy. Again, when you get here, you're looking for accommodation. Where do I stay as a business traveler? What we have found is business travelers are looking for certain key amenities when they get here in accommodation. So if you're thinking of investing in accommodation here to support the industry, you would want to ensure you have, safe power for charging people's devices, Wi-Fi, in-room safes. People are looking for laundry services on site. A restaurant if possible, a business center, and a 24-hour information desk, which is strange enough, people are also requesting that because business travelers have different times when they conduct business. It's not only according to our timing. So sometimes they would require information from the information desk outside of traditional hours. So, recommended hotels that Visit Guyana usually recommend, of course, the international brand hotels. Marriott is requested due to the fact that people can transfer their hotel points to these hotels. But of course, the boutique hotels here in Guyana are also getting a lot of business travelers, Grand Coastal, Pegasus, Carver Lodge, King's Residence Hotels, and so forth. For a full list of our recommendations, you can always inbox us on Visit Guyana or message me directly. Food and dining, of course, you gotta eat, and Guyana's food is amazing, as everybody here who are Guyanese would know. So if you're non-Guyanese and you're heading to Guyana for business travel, you will more than likely get to sample our delicious food. We have restaurants that are very diverse because, as I mentioned before, we're a melting pot of different ethnicities, and this has translated into our beautiful cuisine. So we recommend when you're here, you definitely have to sample our pepper pot or cook up rice, metemji. You gotta get a soup from German's restaurant, and they're also, if you're looking for upscale experiences, there's the Marriott Bistro Champagne Bar. Business lunches are available at Cosmos Grill, Bistro Cafe, and the list goes on. Other needs of the business traveler, we've also found, like I mentioned before, people are also looking for leisure when they come here for business. So most of the travelers we've engaged with, they've asked about day tours, weekend trips outside of the city, and in-city experiences as well. When I say city, I'm referring to our capital city, Georgetown, of course. So usually we recommend, with regards to day tours, trips to Kaito and Arnduk. That can be done in a day because of the time limitations of the business traveler. Essequibo River tours are also wonderful to not only experience our leisure resorts, but also to get a bit of our heritage. You can visit Port Island on that trip. So you learn a bit of history on there. Jungle and bush cook tours, they're new emerging day tours as well that give you a sample of our ecotourism and our local bush cook culture. Linden Highway and Creek Resort tours, those are also quite popular. People love to go to places like Pandama Wines, Pandama Retreat, just to get a city break. Weekend getaways, a trip up the Essequibo or Demerara River to one of our resorts such as Bagadar, Mainstay, Sloat Island. You can overnight there. They have several all-inclusive packages, which business travelers actually love. They love to be picked up at the hotel, taken care of, and brought right back to the hotel. So Baganar, Mainstay, Float Island, Our Point, all of them offer these services. And in the city, people don't necessarily want to leave the city, especially if they're a first-time business traveler. So we recommend things like our 7 Curry tour, or markets and cuisine tour. Some of you may have heard of the Backyard Cafe. That's a wonderful experience. You get to taste and sample Guyanese cuisine. You get to see how it's made. You get to have a trip to our markets, our fresh markets. You get to interact with our people. So those experiences are very rich. They're very enriching, memorable. It makes you connect with the place, connect with our people. And of course, there's a Georgetown City tour as well. You can go safely on the seawall. The tour guide will take you there. You get to see some of our monuments and learn about Guyana's history and heritage. Final word, although COVID-19 has had an impact on business travel, it will not stop. Business travel, business doesn't stop, so business travel will not stop. In fact, it's been increasing. And we can tell you this firsthand based on the fact that we're getting so many inquiries. And, you know, at the end of the day, Guyana is ready. I can tell you that. Although we're an emerging destination on many levels, we are a warm, friendly people. We have very capable people. We have wonderful accommodation, excellent restaurants, and your experience will be a positive one. So I hope you guys have some positive takeaways from this presentation. Any questions you have for me, please, I look forward to answering them. Guyana is a rapidly emerging economy with enormous untapped opportunities, and business travelers in the diaspora are coming home and they're investing, and we welcome all of you here. You're Guyanese, and we want you to invest. So we're happy to have you, and we are here to support your investment. So again, thank you so much for listening. I look forward to your questions, everyone.
Thank you, Stacey. That was quite a comprehensive presentation. Guyana certainly has a lot to offer. And as Stacey mentioned, whether you're traveling for business, you know, stay for a weekend. We have a vast amount of flora and fauna to be explored. Our culture is rich and diverse. Our people are warm and hospitable. And we have plenty of good food to offer. Stacey, I had just 2 inquiries via the chat feature. Someone was asking if you can share the COVID protocol for those with vaccines. I'm not sure if those protocols are yet established or published, but maybe you'll have some more insight and can share some information on that.
The COVID protocols, all of the information, as I mentioned, there's a website, GuyanaTravel.gy. Because those protocols are always changing based on international airport requirements and so forth, those protocols are always changing. To get the most updated information, I'm going to share the link with everybody as well. It's GuyanaTravel.gy. That has all of the updated protocols. Currently, you have to ensure that you get tested at least 7 days before you arrive here, and you have a valid certificate when you arrive. So there's no quarantine right now. It's not a requirement once you get tested before you arrive.
Okay, thanks. And that same person was asking if you have a list of the COVID testing sites in Guyana.
COVID testing sites. I believe the website has that as well, the GuyanaTravel.gy, but I will definitely look into putting that information on our website as well. Yeah, all of the main hospitals do COVID testing. All of them do it.
Well, the question really is, if you have the vaccine, what is the protocol?
Well, that's the question. Oh, well, once you have it, you can just come. You just come with the vaccine information. You have to take the PCR test and you come. That's it. If you already have the vaccine, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. And we have one other question via the chat. Do you have zoological tours? Do you offer that?
Tours during the Georgetown City tour prior to COVID, yes, there is a zoological tour. Let me just interject here. The zoo is actually There's a shift now where it's actually a rehab center for animals, but they still allow visitors in. It's not open right now due to COVID. I'm not sure when that's expected to happen. But usually as part of a Georgetown City tour, yes, a stop is usually done in the botanical gardens /zoo.
Okay, thanks. And I just have one question. In terms of security, are you working in collaboration with any particular security agency or the Guyana Police Force?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
In terms of providing information about security, do you work in collaboration with any security agency or the Guyana Police Force?
No, we don't usually do that because we don't run tours right now ourselves, right? What we do is basically promote tours that are being done by other agencies. So as our job is promotion, we are going to be launching our personal tour company in the near future, but as it stands, those companies usually look after their own security on their respective tours. So no, but what we do is if an inquiry comes into us regarding a business traveler wanting personal security, we usually send a list to them of people that, companies that we know are reputable.
Okay, thank you.